Welcome, welcome. On the MS Dürnstein, please take a seat. The Danube Salon within the framework of the Europa-Forum Wachau is about to start. My name is Sebastian Schäffer. I'm the director of the Institute for the Danube Region in Central Europe, and I have the pleasure for the second time to moderate in this fantastic venue. And I would like to say a few words of welcome to, first of all, of course, the Governor of Lower Austria, Johanna Mikl-Leitner. The Federal Minister for the EU and Constitution of the Republic of Austria, Caroline Edstadler. We furthermore have with us Andrea Metelko-Zgombic, State Secretary for Europe of Croatia. Jennifer Carroll McNeill, Minister of State for European Affairs and Defence of Ireland. Ines Domingos, Secretary of State for European Affairs of Portugal. Daniela Grigore Gitman, Secretary of State for European Affairs of Romania. Magdalena Zobkowiak-Czarnecka, Undersecretary of State and for European Affairs of the Republic of Poland. And Donika Gervela-Schwarz, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Kosovo. Yeah. Furthermore, of course, we have a ship pack of excellencies. Please excuse that I say a warm word of welcome to each and every one of us and not individually, collectively. Thank you for joining us on this boat trip. Thank you, Your Excellencies. And as we are moving already, the first words of tonight, of course, will be held by the President of the Europa-Forum Wachau, Martin Eichtinger.
Madam Minister Caroline Edstadler, Madam Governor Mikl-Leitner, ladies, Secretaries of State, Ministers, Deputy Prime Minister, Excellencies, Presidents, dear friends of the Danube, I would say in this respect, but friends of the European Forum of the Europa-Forum Wachau. It is a real privilege and honor for me to welcome all of you. I would say that we are up for a wonderful trip in the Wachau Valley. As you might know, between the monasteries of Göttweig, where we have our Europa-Forum Wachau, and the monastery of Melk, this whole valley is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. So welcome to the UNESCO World Heritage Site. I would like to say a special thanks to our partners with whom we are organizing today, today's boat trip. First of all, the IDM, the Institute for the Danube and Central Europe, the President, Emil Brix, and the Secretary General, he just left, Sebastian Schäffer, no, he's here. They are one partner, the other partner is the Vienna Economic Forum, Ambassador Elena Kircheva, and the president of the Vienna Economic Forum, Emil Brix, by the way, also the director of the Diplomatic Academy, and the president of the IDM, Fritz Faulhammer, must also be among us. He's over there. He's also the rector of the Danube University in Krems. So I hope I got it right now. So our partners, and we are very extremely appreciative to all the ambassadors who are here today and all the embassies who have contributed to our wonderful food court. And I would like to invite you later on to go to the food stands from all the countries in the region. You will get the most wonderful, delicious food, but also wines from the region. Why is it important for us to have a trip on the boat? Because the Europa-Forum Wachau is based in Lower Austria. Lower Austria is a Danube country, but Lower Austria has always been also very cooperative along the Danube. In fact, the working group of the Danube Regions was founded on an initiative of Lower Austria. And as you know, And the European Union strategy of I come to that. But the working group was founded in the 80s. But later on, jointly with Romania, we managed that the European Union passed a special European Union strategy for the Danube region. That was in 2011. The working group was already founded in the 80s, 1980s. And we are currently in the chair of the European Union strategy for the Danube region. Very successfully yesterday and today an annual forum. We had yesterday the meeting of the mayors of the Danube countries. We had last night a meeting of the Danube foreign ministers, and this morning we had the meeting of the ministers of the Friends of the Western Balkans and the Western Balkan countries. Very busy days for us, but wonderful to have you all here. And particularly appreciated that Caroline Edstadler brought her wonderful network. Next Generation is Female. So a big applause for the female leaders of Europe. On the way back from Weißenkirchen, where we are heading now, on the way back we will have a wonderful panel discussion with insights in the female future of Europe. So there will also be a female panel discussion. I think I have said enough for the moment. I would like to pass on the words to Elena Kircheva, who, as the Secretary General of the Vienna Economic Forum, is a partner of ours and will tell you more about the organization. Thank you very much, and a warm welcome to you again.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Dankeschön. Ich bin sehr froh, hierher in dieser Umgebung sein zu dürfen, mit allen Mitgliedsländern vom Vienna Economic Forum, von der Region, die wir selbst genannt haben, von der Adria bis zum Schwarzen Meer. Herr Botschafter Eichtinger hat schon erwähnt, es ist unser 23. Gartenparty und das ist sehr strange, aber wir nennen es Gartenparty auf einem Schiff. Das haben wir Ihnen zu verdanken, Herr Botschafter Eichtiger, diese wunderbare Idee, dass wir zusammen es organisieren. Wir haben viel gelacht, sollen wir mitbringen, etwas, dass wir einen Garten hier einpflanzen, oder wir machen es für die Zukunft. Sehr verehrte Frau Landeskauffrau, es ist wirklich ein Vergnügen, hier in Niederösterreich zu sein, weil bei der Gründung von Vienna Economic Forum in 2004 waren am meisten die Unternehmen von Niederösterreich, die auch bis heute in ganzer Region von der Adria bis Schwarzmeer aktiv sind. Und ich darf das dem Land Niederösterreich und jetzt im Moment Ihnen persönlich verdanken. Liebe Frau Bundesministerin Edstadler, wir reden alle mit Ihnen nach dem 20. Jubiläum von Vienna Economic Forum im November letztes Jahr mit Liebe und Anerkennung. Es stimmt. Ich habe ein kleines, aber ich sage nicht wie viele Mitarbeiter, aber es ist ein Dream Team. Und in meinem Dream Team reden, ja, Ministerin Edstadler. Sie haben in dem Namen von Bundesregierung so viel beigebracht, dass der Erfolg, Ansehen von Vienna Economic Forum nach 20 Jahren Jubiläum nach außen eine wunderschöne war. Und wenn ich von Freude und von Verdienst spreche, kehre ich zurück zu der Botschafter Eichtinger, weil die Zusammenarbeit zwischen Vienna Economic Forum und Forum Wachau, Europa-Forum Wachau, schreibt durch Sie und diese jetzt gemeinsame Organisation Geschichte. Ich werde nie vergessen, als der Vienna Economic Forum im Jahre 2004 gegründet wurde, mit der Unterstützung von der österreichischen Regierung, ihre persönliche Rolle. Und ich sage etwas, bis heute hat Vienna Economic Forum die großen Fahnen von allen Mitgliedsländern dank ihrer Unterstützung in 2004. Danach haben wir sogar die Fahnen einmal dem Ministerium zurück für kurze Zeit zu geben und die sind jetzt bei uns. Überhaupt, Vienna Economic Forum hat sich entwickelt durch die Solidarität, die Entwicklung, die Unterstützung, riesige Unterstützung, zuerst homogene österreichische Unternehmen und dann allmählich. Jetzt zählen zu unseren Mitgliedern vom Vienna Economic Forum, ich habe gesehen, Frau Vizepremierministerin und Außenministerin Frau Donnicke, zu unseren Ländern zählen nicht nur 13 Länder von der Region, zählen nicht nur österreichische, wunderbare, mit gutem Ruf und mit guten Möglichkeiten Unternehmen, die uns unterstützen und die weiter hoffen, die regionale Konsolidation dazu zu schaffen. Ich sollte eigentlich damit anfangen, dass ich im Namen von dem Präsidenten von Vienna Economic Forum, Botschafter BRICS, auch rede. Wir haben so abgemacht, dass wir zusammen hier alle begrüßen. Ich möchte auch unbedingt unseren Ehrenpräsidenten, Diplom-Ingenieur Dr. Rabenstein, begrüßen, als er als Vorstandsmitglied vom Verbund unser Präsident war und jetzt als Nachfolger Herr Botschafter BRICS. Ich bin wirklich eine glückliche Person, mit solchen Leuten arbeiten zu dürfen. Es ist symbolisch, glaube ich, dass wir es gerade heute, sagen Sie mir, wenn ich nicht recht habe, aber ich glaube, gerade heute ist die Sommersonnenwende, stimmt es? Und dass wir an der schönen blauen Donau hier sind. Ich bin selber an der Donau in Bulgarien geboren, aber das ist für Vienna Economic Forum ein Symbol. Ich darf allen einen schönen ein schönes Sommerevent so wünschen. Und wir wissen, und Sie alle müssen wissen, unsere Region tanzt gut, ist gut, tanzt gut. Danach werden wir es auch selber machen. Vielen herzlichen Dank.
I only need to say a word of apologies because he's a tall person and cannot be easily overlooked. But Wolfgang Fischer, of course, is one of our most important partners. We wouldn't be here without the Danube Shipping Company, this wonderful MS Dürnstein ship that we are using. And thank you so much that you made it possible. And I think you are next in line to speak. Sorry, and thank you so much.
No problem. No problem, Martin. Excellencies. It's a great pleasure for us, for the DDSG, to have you here. 9 female ministers, the future of Europe, gathering around Caroline Edstadler. It's a great pleasure for us. A lot of famous people were here in the Wachau. It was a magnet since 800 years. One of the first was King Richard the Lionheart. He has his holidays here, not as long as he liked. He was about 12 or 14 months he was here in prison, but his ransom was then the beginning of investing in this wonderful region. This is the UNESCO World Heritage Region of Wachau. We are going there since 195 years. That's the age not of me, but of the DDSG Danube Shipping Company. And we have about 150,000 passengers every year here in the Wachau, and we are very proud to be part of Lower Austria, of the Wachau, and be part now of this interesting conference where we are able to take this ship and go to Weißenkirchen and to the Wachau. I think there are a lot of interesting discussions. Warmly welcome, and I will stop now because we're in a little hurry, isn't it? Thank you very much that you are here.
Thank you very much.
Herr Schäfer, geben Sie mir eine Minute, zusätzliche Minute. Ich habe es genommen selber. Ich muss so unbedingt allen Botschaften der unserer Mitgliedsländer danken, die Mitglieder von unserem Botschafterkomitee sind, und dank dieser Zusammenarbeit haben wir zu genießen, was sie als Köstlichkeiten, als Desserts und als so Getränke gebraucht haben. Und ich muss, Herr Botschafter, eigentlich etwas unbedingt sagen. Last but not least, und bitte Applaus an die Geschäftsführerin der Europa-Forum Wachau, Frau Theresa Edstadler-Kucheneck.
Yes.
Wo ist Theresa? Sie ist unglaublich. Ohne sie hätten wir diese riesige Organisation nicht geschafft. Herzlichen Dank.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Can I ask, please, the governor and the federal minister to the stage? Geht so? Passt der? Okay, darf ich? Entschuldigung. Okay. So, well, if I have the opportunity to be at this Danube Salon that is sailing under the motto, changing the point of view, women's insights into the future of Europe, I think we could not have asked for two better female leaders in Austria to have on this stage to talk about this topic. And my first question to the Governor of Lower Austria, Johanna Mikl-Leitner, would be, what's the difference in female perspective and leadership, and why is it important?
Yeah, there are many insights, but first of all, I would like to say a very warm welcome here in Lower Austria, here in the Wachau, in one of the most famous regions of the world. And Martin Eichtinger said it, it's a cultural heritage regarding of the vineyards, the landscape, and also our castles and monasteries. And I hope you will have some time to make a sightseeing tour to Krems, to Göttwalk, or other places. It's so lovely here, and I think you have much fun here. But I would like to say also many thanks to Caro Edstadler for inviting so many powerful ladies, and I think we all are example setting for all other women. Yeah. And so I'm very happy that the focus in this afternoon is on women. So many thanks that you are all here and that you share all our experience, all your experience with us. What I'm thinking, I think the most important thing for young ladies is to be well educated and to be financially independent. And beyond that, it's important that the young ladies say yes to the responsibilities, to all the jobs, to higher positions and so on. And I always said yes to a new job, to a new responsibility. And it was also a challenging time because I always had to be better than men. And I always had to give always more than 100%. We all know for men it's enough to give 90% or 100%. We all give 150%. But I think if you make a decision for a new job, for a new challenging responsibility, so you can make important decisions and you can create some things, you can create the world, you can create your region. And for me, it's very important to give young ladies a support. But often there's a problem that they say, no, I would stay at home, I cannot combine family and all that job. But I think it's necessary to say yes. And so I'm think also example setting in politicians in the past. I was the Minister of Interior, and now I am the Governor of Lower Austria, the most important, the most beautiful region. I think you agree with me. And so I'm the first governor here in Lower Austria, and so also the only governor in whole Austria. But I'm very proud about Caro. She is so powerful in our federal government, and she's always close to me, and it's really a pleasure for me to work with her together, and we have also much fun. Thank you, Caro. And as the first female governor of Lower Austria, I have brought 60% more women into leadership positions in the administration of Lower Austria. So you can see there's a difference if a man is the governor or a woman. And I think it's and I think you have also similar experiences. And so today we have the chance to share all our experiences, and so we can strengthen all the other ladies. And so I wish you a very good stay here, and I hope you will enjoy it, and I hope you will come soon to Lower Austria. And it's a pleasure that you are here with your network, with your powerful ladies. Where's the Minister of Poland? Okay, now I'm on the other side, okay? Because I cross my fingers for Austria, okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, well, the network has already been mentioned. So my question, of course, to you is, can you tell us a little bit more about the network and its goals and how you envision the next steps within this network?
Thank you so much. First and foremost, a very warm welcome, and thank you to the regional governor, I may say my dear friend Hanne Mikl-Leitner, for having us here and for being a role model for me since many, many years. It's great to have women like you in Austria who are the first, but as I learned, it's not important to be the first woman in a position, it's important to care for it, to be not the last one. And that is something Hanne is doing every day. It's great having so many colleagues of the General Affairs Council here at the Danube, literally. It's great to have you here in the Wachau. 6 out of us 7 are sitting in the General Affairs Council, and we are making politics. We as women, and they were already introduced, but Elena Sherkeletova from Bulgaria was left out, and also a very warm welcome to you from Bulgaria. What are we doing? We are working hard for the European Union, for the future of the next generation. And then I had an idea. In August 2022, I founded this network. The next generation is female. And don't be afraid, dear men. It's not against you. It's with your strong support. But we women have to get everywhere. And we need gender balance. And we need also emotions. Because in a challenging world like we are facing now, it needs the female and the male view on things, and that's what we try to do and show and make visible with this network. So the goal is to show that there are already women, that we need more women, that we need at least gender-balanced situation also in the European Union. And we organized already a lot of trips. We went together as a first move we did, and I'm looking at Andrea, she is from the first moment in this group, because this group is changing as the ministers in the General Affairs Council are changing. We went to Kiev, and this was in November 2022, and we will never forget about that trip. To see what the war is doing, to see that women are not only victims of the war, but also supporting in military system, building up things again, caring for the children, caring for them who need help. That was really amazing, and we also had to go to the shelter because there was a huge attack. You were also there, Daniela, and we had to flee there and had our discussions knee by knee in the cellar. So we will never forget about that, and we will keep on shedding light on the female needs, and that's what we try to do. So the goal of the network is to strengthen the role and the visibility of women in decision-making progress, and to strengthen our own network. And I tell you one last thing, because I don't want to be long. I had a discussion today with a man, a strong man outside the European Union, and I told him that I will meet the forward-looking network, the next generation is female. And he listened to me, and then he looked at me and he said, how would you feel if I would create a network like that? And I answered, come on, the world is full of networks of men, first of all. And secondly, at the moment, when we have gender balance in the world, in all the positions, in society, in politics, and all the other areas, then you can be jealous. But only then, and because this is why, because we are all true feminists when it comes to gender balance, and that's what we try to do, and that's why I'm really happy that you are all here. We will also sign a declaration, what we want to bring forward in the world, and bring emotion to the world, because that is something we are blamed for our emotions sometimes, but it's needed to have emotions, especially when we are challenging a lot of problems in the world. And I think we achieved already a lot, and we will go on like that. So thank you, dear ladies, for being here, and let's turn the world to a better place.
Thank you very, very much. So, well, we still have a little bit of a way to go back on this ship. you know that this Danube Salon is called Change the Point of View, and this is what I'm going to do. Because I think I've spoken enough, and we have a fantastic panel, and if we really want to follow what the governor and also the federal minister had said, then of course we hand over to a female moderator, and I'm very glad that Sophia Beiter is going to lead you to the second part of this evening. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much, Sebastian. And yes, dear ladies and gentlemen, let's proceed to today's roundtable talk. As mentioned, my name is Sophia Beiter. I'm a research associate at the IDM, and I'm very happy to welcome you to this panel discussion today, Change the Point of View, Women's Insights into the Future of Europe. Even though the situation nowadays is improving, the female perspective is still often overlooked, and I think we can all here mention even a few aspects in life, from the gender pay gap to the representation of female leaders, where still significant progress is needed to achieve real gender equality. And that's why I'm very excited and also honored to moderate this panel here today, especially because we have a very great panel with outstanding guests, 4 highly successful women, 4 female leaders working in different fields in the Danube region. And I want to invite them now to join on the panel and also to introduce them to you. So today on the panel we have Marina Rožić, Secretary General of the Croatian Chamber of Economy and Chair of the Eurochamber's Women Network in Croatia. Milena Kadjeva, Managing Director of the DA Foundation United Against Violence in Bulgaria. Kristina Kyriak, President of the National Confederation for Women Entrepreneurship in Romania. And Anna Revenko, Director of the Center for Strategic Communication and Combating Disinformation in Moldova. Welcome to the Danube Salon, and thank you very much for joining this panel discussion. We already heard from the governor of Lower Austria why the female perspective and female leadership is important in her opinion. And so now, of course, we also want to hear your view on that. So, putting matters of equality aside, why is the female perspective important for the future of Europe, especially in leadership and decision-making positions? And maybe I will start with Marina Rožić to my very left.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for this opportunity and for invitation to be on this event. It's such a great audience and a place to be. Why female leaders are different, and why today this need to be our strategy. We all know that today female leaders bringing progress. This needs to be our strategy, not just because of the gender equality, but because of the progress. If we see like this, according to data, statistic data, if we give the same opportunity to women as to a man, according to European Institute for the Gender Equality, the GDP in Europe would increase in 3.15 trillion of euros until 2015. I think this is enough just to have why it's needed to be in female leaders. Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe let's continue with Milena Kadjeva. What is your opinion on the importance of the female perspective and leadership?
Thank you for inviting me first, and thank you for everyone who would like to listen to my answer. Becoming from Bulgaria and being a lawyer protecting human rights of all of us, being male and females, I always speak on my personal experience, and the answer will be related to my personal experience as well. So, as I said, I'm coming from Bulgaria. It is a former small communist country, as you all know. And when I was growing up in a small region in Bulgaria, it was, let's say, impossible to travel abroad. Let's start with just one example. And when I was growing up, I was dreaming of seeing the world, of seeing Europe, of seeing other places. And it was not possible. Then with all the changes that happened with our democracy in 1989, there were all these opportunities. And I saw that everything is possible. And at the same time, I of course realized there are lots of obstacles because I'm female. So it's not enough to be out of the communist regime, but it's even necessary additionally to be better, stronger, faster than every man on earth in order to succeed. But with education, with training, with development, with sharing experience, with following role models, at the moment I can say the following, again as a very small example. I'm leading a non-governmental organization dealing with violence against women. So we are working with cases of domestic violence, sexual violence, and trafficking in human beings. And because of the work of all the people in organizations, and they are mostly females, we changed completely the legislation in Bulgaria related to domestic violence. We amended it when it was necessary, and now we can say that basically every fourth woman who is a victim of domestic violence is better protected in the country. And that's due to the leadership of people like me. So the person of example matters, and the role model matters. And I'm really glad that there are so many women being here, being role models. So the lesson is all of us have to follow the better role models, and most all of them are female, actually.
Thank you very much for that.
Hello,
Hello.
Sophia. Hello, everyone. I'm very grateful because I'm here, and I will tell you about what I am thinking. Women cherish the success because they understood better the sacrifice. Empowering women, we create a better world, not only for us, for our children, for our partners. So I think we need to have role models, and we saw that to the European Union. For example, since 2007, when Romania became a member to European Union chose 10 Romanian models to be female entrepreneurs, female ambassadors. One of them is here, and the second one is in the front line, Nicoleta Munteanu. And I think all the women are role models, all the women who are here in this room, because they believe we need education and we need courage. What is missing in all the environment is to have enough courage to ask for help, to take your place in society, and also to create an environment. I think it's very important to have organization who support women, and also I think the next step is to put all the organizations who support female entrepreneurs, but not only on the same umbrella, one umbrella, to sustain them, to promote them, to help them to do networking and mentoring, because it's very important. And one more thing I will tell you, it's saying about women doesn't help each other. It's saying about women doesn't invest in women. I think we can change this together.
Thank you very much. And before we continue, I would maybe kindly ask the guests on the boat to be a bit quieter so that we can all enjoy the panel discussion better. Yes, so please, Anna Revenko, for your opinion on the importance of female perspective.
Good evening. I'm humbled and honored to be part of such a selected group of women, and I do see so many inspiring faces in the auditorium. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And I'll start by saying, and that comes from my personal experience as well as a former Minister of Interior, you know, looking at it from the technical perspective, having female perspective in leadership for the sake of female perspective, to me, is less important. After all, why should it set as such self-important be more important? Because from the cognitive point of view, there is no difference. What is important is that granting women real rights to be part of the decisional-making process is what Europe benefits the most. Granting them real rights is when Europe will benefit finally from what it has in terms of know-how, in terms of brains, in terms of courage, in terms of innovation. Imagine you have 1 million specialists, but only half of them have a voice. Or should I say, half of them do not have a complete voice. One more critical differentiator that I see is that hunger, that power, that flexibility that women have when participating and readiness to contribute to important decision-making processes in leadership positions. And that is a critical differentiator. And that is the essential difference when it comes to bringing their lenses into how public life, the life of each citizen, can change. And as an evidence, I will not go into details, simply look at what is on the Europe agenda in the last 5 years and how Europe had to go ahead with very extremely important decisions with regard to the future of Europe. We have discussed and dedicated the whole morning to these issues. You know, since the previous moderator mentioned football, let me put like this. And as the European Football Championship is going as we speak, can I ask you a question? Would you like to have an important game change player in your team? I bet you all would want to have this kind of a game changer in your team. And Europe is a leader in promoting women. So my then answer would be like that. In current context, in current security challenging agenda, Europe needs all its great leaders. And in the end, is about the capacity to create the best team with the best brains, best characters. And of course, the best team cannot be without the female perspective and the female leadership. That's the core of it. And that's the right way of thinking and of doing things. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for these valuable insights and also this nice metaphor. My next question would actually go to Marina Rožić. You are the Secretary General of the Croatian Chamber of Economy. And economy is often or traditionally seen as a male-dominated field. So my question would be, how do you think women leaders can influence the future of Europe in such traditionally male-dominated fields like economy and finance, but maybe also technology and AI?
Okay. As a General Secretary of Croatian Chamber of Economy and also Chairwoman of Eurochamber's Women Network, I see a lot. And yes, business is definitely male-dominated space, but with a lot of women inside, but unfortunately with the men on the top. So we already have started with the change, and change is coming. It's slowly, but it's coming. Perhaps I can continue on the, my lady panels from before. In European Union, definitely we have non-gender equality in the decision-making process. And that is why European Union adopted two very important directives last year about gender balanced representative in the boards and about the wage gap. So actually these two directives is a foundation of my role as a chairwoman in Eurochamber's Women Network. We are trying to find the role models of the businesswomen, of course, to promote them and to promote the company who support them and to create change of mindset. because the change of mindset is usually the first wall that women need to jump off. Because, for example, in Croatia, you have just 16% of women on the top position in the company. That's nothing. And still, why is that? I mean, it's not because of university degree. We have 60% of women with university degree, and still just 16% on the top of the company. That data from the 2022 shows us that more than 60 listed company, and I'm talking about the listing company because of directives from the European Union, more than 60 company has no woman in supervisory board, and more than 30% has no woman at all at the board, which is completely impossible. And that's why I try with other chambers, and Austrian chambers is definitely my role of the chamber, because in Austria they actually have more than 40% of the women in the boards, in the supervisory boards. So we are trying to define the programs for the women, to give them knowledge and encourage them to come and to try to take this decision-making position. Also, as a chamber, we have a base of these women as a database. So in every company, we can offer a woman for the supervisory board or for the board. Because usually, when the company are taking decision, they are doing that in so-called beer club. Because networking is something that is very, very hard for the woman. I mean, we have 1,000 of obligation, and men have a little bit less. And the networking is something that they are doing very, very good. And we need to take this from them and try to do like that. I mean, for example, supervisory board, I know it's complicated, but usually the decision is made in the beer club. Who is the good candidate? Who is the best candidate? And this is also the problem with the wage. Because if you start at the same time as a man, still, if he take a project the same as the woman takes, he will have enough courage to ask for more money for this project, even if he doesn't complete it yet. So it's a little bit different picture, but we already made some change, and I think the progress is coming, definitely. We need more encourage to women and more networking, definitely. Networking is something that is really, really good at the men club and not in women club. Thank you.
Thank you. You also... You also mentioned the change of the mindset that is necessary, and so let's move maybe a bit more to the societal level and what is needed, what needs to change in society to support women leadership better. Milena Kadira, you are managing director at the DA Foundation, United Against Violence in Bulgaria, and you work towards protecting and empowering women and girls in all areas of public and private life, and to help them realize their full potential in a fair society. So my question to you would be, what societal changes and maybe also policies are needed to support and promote women's insights and contributions better in Europe?
Thank you for the question. And again, coming from Bulgaria, I'm going to present, of course, the Bulgarian perspective, but that relates to the European one as well, of course. And dealing with gender-based violence, what is important in our area of work is the fact that very often the victims of gender-based violence are overrated or underrated depending on the different desires of the people working in the top positions in the country. And usually what is happening is that their abilities are underrated. And when there is a woman who is a victim of different types of violence against her, is a victim of such violence, and she is discussing it with the authorities, searching for help and protection, and being vulnerable, everybody is basically perceiving her as a vulnerable female without having any opportunity to change, to develop, to continue with her life, and to have success, including financial and economical. But the fact is, and that is the reality, that because we are working with the victims on a daily basis, these are women who are politicians. These are women who are lawyers. These are women who are teachers. These are women who are engineers. And if we look at them the way they are, not as victims, but as persons, as human beings, as professionals, as experts, that will give them strength to continue first with their life and then to contribute to the labor market and to the common future that we all would like to have. And in order for all of that to happen, of course, we need change. First, as my colleague just said, we need change of the mentality in this particular area as well, because of this perception of the victims of gender-based violence. And afterwards, of course, we need changes at the educational level. And afterwards, we need, of course, changes in the labor market and in the legislation, including national, local, regional, and international. And as my colleague said, actually, the changes in the legal area are happening. After so many years of expectation, she just mentioned the two directives related to the wages and the equality and the places of the women on the boards. And the same is happening in the area of gender-based violence. And actually, it is about 3 weeks ago when a new directive entered into force within the European Union, and it is related for a very first time within the European Union with the protection against gender-based violence and domestic violence. So change, as my colleague just said as well, in the economic sphere is already happening. Sometimes it is slow, sometimes it is taking really a lot of time, efforts, energy, money including, and the thing is, change is happening, and that's the most important thing. Thank you.
Thank you. After having talked about the level of society, let's maybe move to concrete examples of successful female leaders. Christina Kyriak, as president of the National Confederation for Women Entrepreneurship, you have seen and awarded female excellence and female entrepreneurs. And so could you give us some examples of successful women entrepreneurs and how they uniquely contribute to innovation in Europe?
Yes, of course, but first of all, I will tell you a little bit about CONAF. CONAF is the first and the most important confederation in Romania who sustain and promote female entrepreneurship. According to the MasterCard Index, Romania takes the 9th place in the world for female entrepreneurship. More than 38% of women in Romania are female. So this is a great success for us, and this is the result of our work. And when I'm saying our, I'm saying more than 6,000 companies and more, and we represent more than 200,000 of employees. So this is what we are doing in Romania. And because European Union believe it in us and nominate us like ambassadors for Romania, we return in Romania with trainings and lessons to do networking and education, because you know, most of all of us, including the Romania, we didn't have in the past entrepreneurial education. It's now we have, but 10 years ago it was something strange, and we understood we need role models. That's why CONAF awarded more than 100 female entrepreneurs during those 10 years. So if I will need to nominate some examples, it will be very hard, because in my opinion every woman needs to be awarded only because she had the courage and put the dream to become reality. But I will tell you some of them. So, for example, Ana Maria Stancu is the most important female on digitalization and robotics, and also she is member of different committees in the European Union. Raluca Radu is responsible for raising the e-commerce and the digital marketing, Camelia Shuku, which is in our board, and so on. So I think we need to have the courage and be ourselves and create networks and involved, because first of all, when we decided to become entrepreneurs, we need to have a good balance between our personal life and our professional life. So because of that, we needed to involve our partners, because alone it isn't possible.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And for our last question of this round, I would like to look at the topic from a bit of a different angle, the angle of communication and disinformation. Anna Revenko, as head of Center for Strategic Communication and Countering Disinformation in Moldova, how do you ensure that your communication efforts effectively address and mitigate the impacts of false information, especially in a leadership role?
Do we have a long evening ahead? This is definitely one of the topics that dominates the security agenda, not only in Moldova, but Europe at large. And of course, as a director, I'm very tempted to go into technicalities, but I'll keep it focused in the line of the main or general framework that guided us in building this new state institution. I personally was involved in its creation since day number one, when Madam President asked me to join the team, and the efforts in adding value to the European fight in this information battlefield in order to protect democracy. And our approach was not to tackle disinformation as such, or focus on what is said being fake news or false news as such. Instead, we prioritize looking and analyzing and finding the right way to address FIMI, the foreign information interference and information manipulation. After all, what is actually the FIMI, if not the strategic communication that our adversaries and our enemies are deploying? And in this case, what is the best response, if not equally a strategic offense? And having said that, Moldova has embarked on a very novel strategy, which means that we have approached both disinformation and fake informations only as manifestations of the foreign information interference. That is the core of our strategy. What does it mean in practice? First, we've embedded the vision of the center into one of the most important policy documents of any country. It's the National Security Strategy that makes clear references to the information threats affecting national interests. Second, in the parliament, we adopted the strategic vision of the center, which prioritizes strategic communication. I've already explained shortly what does it mean when we talk about foreign interference. But also, we've managed to define clearly what are those strategic communication pillars that speak actually about our national interests. It's a very novel approach, because some of you might rightly ask, why in the hell we are being transparent about our national interest and strategic communication pillars when we are engaged in such an aggressive information war from Russia? Because actually we needed full transparency, we needed public debates, we needed engagement from the entire society. Because in times of hardness, it's about all participating in the interest of the society. And again, it's about the women leadership, because we have so much more of female engaged now in the security agenda. Third, we publicly stated that from now on, we will engage into the principle whole of the society approach. Instead of the classical whole of the government, we'll actually need, as I already mentioned, all of the groups of the society: academia, civil society organizations, media organizations, we need private sector, we need both male and female as part of this effort. And what is probably last but definitely not the least, the approach that we centered in this fight is to increase the informational resilience inside the society, instead of simply reacting every time there is a manifestation of this disinformation or fake news or false information. It's going after the resilience of us all. And that is exactly what is the added value that we are bringing, like I said earlier, to the whole European fight and effort to stand by with this extremely aggressive informational interference in our security, in a broader sense, agenda. I definitely know that this is quite a bold statement. And, you know, we are taking all the challenges and all the risks, because the truth is that only by taking this chances, going all together in what I would call uncharted waters, will give us actually the possibility to meaningfully contribute to the efforts that all of us, women and men, Western Europe countries, Central Europe countries, South, older, newer, we are all now facing this single threat. And that is the only way we could also contribute to this collective effort and be able to bring these lessons learned and these novelties while learning them, while doing into this sustainability. You know, by closing my intervention, I would like to say that maybe in the future we will have the chance to talk more technicalities. But right now, for us, all the efforts, when we talk about reaching out to each and everyone, it's about being over there with the people, with those who make the change, including as women leaders, starting with our president, and putting in the heart of all the efforts the value that democracy brings to the life of each and everyone, to the collective one, and to the future of ours. Thank you.
I would actually have a small follow-up question to that, but before that, after this next question, I will open up the discussion for the audience. So if you have a question, please already get ready to ask it soon. And my follow-up question would be, you spoke about increasing the informational resilience in society. So my question would be, is disinformation maybe targeted differently regarding men and women? Can you observe something with regards to that? To Anna Ravenko, yeah.
Oh, definitely. We are seeing how gendered is part of the disinformation and actually heavily used to attack democracies as such. We should not only take it as an attack on female. It's actually undermining the women in leadership positions, and that is attack to democracy, to what we state that democracy and security means for us, regardless of the areas we are working on. If we see this gendered disinformation from the standpoint of attack to democracy, then we all have greater roles to play, not only females, but males as well. Younger, non-leaders, but praising democracy at the beginning and in the end of our efforts. We have seen in Moldova for years, our president was part of that, our former prime minister in times of the war. I myself had to learn a lot from both building the leadership, and I very much actually like what has been stated earlier, the first is not so important. If you stay only the first, then you didn't make a change, actually. So I do take it very close and very close to my heart, all these recommendations. And that's exactly what is intended by adversaries. It's not only to diminish the role of women, but actually to undermine and underscore the role of democracy when we're talking about sustainable, prosperous, equal societies with equally appraising the know-how, the values that each and every citizen of any country, of any state can bring for our prosperous and stable future.
Thank you. And now it's time for some questions from the audience. So if you have a question, please introduce yourself briefly and especially also say to whom you want to address the question. Yes, please.
Yes, hi. Thank you all. My name is Eva Schönhammer. I'm from the Medical University in Vienna, professor there, epidemiology. And I have a question because in Europe, in particular in the Western European parts, diversity has become such a major issue. And yet I often feel we as women haven't really gotten our equal pay, and yet there's this new topic. How do you view this? Is it something that could be merged under the female dominance that we want to achieve, or at least equality? Or do you think this is problematic for the progress of women?
Ask the question.
All of you.
Who wants to answer it? Okay, Marina Rožič.
Okay, maybe I will answer you all your question, maybe part. But let's say like this. And I will continue on my colleague from before. Communications is essential because right now, when we talk about the gender equality, we usually question quota. Quota is a big question now. Why anybody should just fulfill the quota according to this director of the European Union, or not to be choose because of his or she's qualification. And I mean, quota is now, we have to look at it as a tool. And this is the last tool that we have. Actually, we have to fulfill quota to show that we can make a change. And by this change, we will make policy in the companies as a main foundation, and we will make change because of the wage gap. Because right now, wage gap is in European Union around 13%, in Croatia is a little bit less, 11%, but still it is a gap. And if we have more female leaders, more CEO, more female in the board, we are going to have more female directors, and we are going to change this wage gap. It's not just a wage gap, it's also a pension fund, which is also connected with the wage gap. And we all know that in whole European Union, we have a labor shortage. And we need a woman as a labor force. Definitely, this is something not that we can choose. We need them, and we need to concretely to jump over all of this quota question and just to embrace this change.
Thank you. Does someone want to follow
I
up?
will be shortly. In Romania, we don't have differences. All the salaries are the same for women and for men. And to respond to your quotas, problem, issues, I am pro. I think in Romania, things will change in a better way if we will have quotas. Unfortunately, in this moment, it is an issue. Some women will vote pro quotas, other women, no. It is still a matter of mentality, and I think we all can change this if we will talk more about this, because it's not about being less intelligent, less educated, less opportunity. It's about mentality. It's about being in the right place at the right moment, and for that, I think we need to be together, to stay together. If we will have a strong voice, then probably the things will change. If we will talk separately, probably not. That's why I congratulate you for this event, because what you do here, putting us together from different countries with different problems, with different perspective of and different education and even different past, it's unique. Because I think we need to do it again and again and again until the man and all the citizens will understand we have all the same needs and we want all the same thing, a better future for all of us. It's not about having a word for women, a word for men, and a word for our children. It's about us all together.
I see we have one more question from the audience.
Yes, thank you. Jonas Valentin, Research Associate at the University for Continuing Education in Krems. I have the question, as a young researcher, as a young male researcher, what shall I do, or what shall we as men do, and how can we as men support the way to gender equality, to equality for women? Shall we, maybe it's a bit vague, but shall we just let you do the job that you can do so great, or is there a way that we can support in a way without undermining?
Thank you. To whom is the question? Okay. Who wants to go first?
Yes, I will try to have a short answer to that question, and thank you for that. And I'm going to relate the answer together with the first question about diversity, so maybe the answer is with the diversity as well. Simply because, starting from educational point of view, because you said you are a researcher, and we are speaking about education and training and how important it is, as far as we are concerned, if we start with the proper education and training at a very early age about diversity, equality, non-discrimination, human rights protection, everything which is so important for all of us, from the kindergartens, then going to schools and to universities, everything will be happening easier and faster and in a very natural way, actually. So for everybody to support the other sex, the other gender, it's really necessary to give them the opportunity to show themselves and to prepare their abilities to be shown to the world as well. So education, training, support, sharing, and leadership for both males and females.
Thank you. Does someone want to follow up? Yeah? Anna?
Nothing very special to add, except that once again praise education from the earliest stage, but also make education inclusive. It's not about, as we've seen, classes for boys and classes for girls about, let's say, financial education. It's not going to help. So we need to look at education as something absolutely normal, as part of the process, not as a scope to create X number of possible leaders. That is one idea. And second, I think the boldness to actually take a stand in terms of giving an opportunity to a woman who is already ready to take leadership decision, despite all odds, despite the entire auditorium to say no. But take that stand, and that will be a breaking through. To the previous one questions, I think we probably all forgot to also talk about solidarity. It's solidarity about us women. Yes, we have to remind us all about that. But again, solidarity among us all as businesswomen, as experts in security, as educators, not only solidarity because of the gender. We've been, both Moldova and some other countries, in experience when that was the ultimate scope, the X percentage or the number. Equality for the sake of equality is the wrong way to set up the scope. It's the benefit, the impact on our lives that this approach is bringing. So I think that this combination actually has the potential to bring much more impact and effect.
Thank you. And for our last question today for this panel discussion, I would like to hear a bit more about your personal stories. So in your experience, and of course something you also would like to share, what was the biggest challenge, the biggest obstacle that you had to face on your career path or also in your position as a female leader, and how did you overcome it? And yeah, please answer briefly in just a few sentences, and maybe we start with Marina Rožić again.
Okay, from my experience, okay, just to take a position as a general secretary. I mean, it's not just a general secretary. I have several positions, several roles in one position. General secretary of Chamber of Economy, also of our National Committee of International Chamber of Commerce, and Eurochambers Women Network also from a year and a half now. So definitely to take this position, it was like a step forward, and it was a big change. But I like to say for myself that I like changes. I'm not afraid of it. So whenever I have an opportunity to embrace the change, I say just to embrace it, because every change means a step forward, a new window for something new. Definitely that was for my side of perception.
Thank you. Milena Kadira?
Thank you. As I said, I like always presenting my personal experience, because the experience is always speaking on its own in a better way. So the obstacles, let's try to count them because there are so many. Starting from the point that I said I'm coming from Bulgaria, personally coming from a very small region, from a very small village. So first obstacle, when I was growing up in that area of the country, I was not expected to become a lawyer at all. People were saying that it is a female, not possible to be a profession, but it's only for male. Then in university, because I was a female and coming from a very small village, everybody was saying I'm not able to be the top of the class. Well, I got the top of the class. Afterwards, after the university, in the area of human rights protection, which was not very popular in Bulgaria, everyone was saying it is not an area to be worked upon and a woman to be leading. Well, I was leading a Women's Human Rights Training Institute for that particular subject afterwards. Then it was stated that it is not up to a woman to lead university classes for human rights protection for the students. Well, I got it. Then it was said it is not possible for a woman to be having the award for the best lawyer of the year. Well, I got it. So there are so many obstacles, and they're everywhere, and they're having, I mean, in every day, in every step that we are taking. But the point is that we are good persons, good human beings, good experts, good professionals. It's not the sex, it's not the gender, it's the abilities. And when you show to the others that it's a matter of abilities, then everybody starts appreciating. And if every one of us is having exactly the same, the world will be changing.
Thank you.
You know, while I was thinking of this question and listening to them, I was thinking, what obstacles did I have? And I think if I need to take a look into my past, I will tell you like this. The most important loss I have, it's the fact I needed to lose a part of my femininity side, because society expects from an entrepreneurial woman to be tough, to be everywhere, to be able to solve everything anytime. And because of that, I take the masculinity side and I adopt it. Now I am not doing anymore this, because now CONAF exists into my life. But 6 years ago, when we started to think, it all started with one dream. And when we started to think to have this kind of organization, which is unique in Romania, but not only in Romania, in one side of Europe also, people starting to take a look at me strange. Why you need this? Do they need, meaning the women need to have their own organization? And I still believe we need it, because we need a place where to understand, to network, to mentoring, to help each other, to bring young people close to us, to share experience. So I think the most important lesson into my life, it was to learn from my mistakes, to understood the success. It is a lesson who came in the same time with sacrifices. And as long as we understand this, we will swallow the mistakes easily.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for the privilege to listen to your stories, and I can indeed resonate with many of them. So probably most of the faces I see are looking at them. My only recommendation from my lessons learned, because I never thought and dreamed to be a security advisor, Minister of Interior, working to build the new state institutions, but I can for sure, with all the sacrifices and losses and gains, I can say that wishing big and thinking big must be always there on your agenda, on your pillow if you want. And I think that the only obstacle is your internal fear. It's our internal fear and doubt. But it's also the only most powerful source of your energy and your success. So every day you wake up, you find your leader, you find your source, and you just continue walking, because at the end of the day, it's the privilege to serve your people, to serve my people, to serve our nations, our country, to serve our joint and common agenda. And I think that's the highest cause that anyone can only wish. And it's also the privilege to do what you like, what you dreamed of, what you wished for. And so is my personal also path. And I only wish that everyone has that possibility to live both the privilege and the feeling of serving a higher cause. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Unfortunately, our time is over now. Thank you very much for this great discussion, for your valuable insights, and especially also for sharing a bit of your personal story. I think this will be very inspirational and motivational for the women here, including myself. So please, a big round of applause for our speakers. And we also have a small present for our speakers. I also, of course, want to thank our cooperation partners. Firstly, the Europa-Forum Wachau, especially here Teresa Edstadler and Max Filipski. And then I would also like to thank for our long-standing cooperation, the AG Donauländer, here especially Simon Ortner and Teresa Stummer. And also thank you to the IDM team, to our director Sebastian Schäffer, and also Camila Bogdanova and Francesco Danieli for their support. Last but not least, I also want to thank the crew of the ship for bringing us back safely, hopefully. I think we are almost arriving back in Krems. Thank you very much for joining. This was the Danube Salon 2024. My name is Sophia Beiter, and see you next year.